morning, everyone, and welcome along to this 2024 Interprovincial Series, which kicks off today here at Pembroke Cricket Club. You'll see on the pictures there that the Leinster Lightning are in the field and the Munster Reds are batting. We've just missed the first ball there, but we're here. Fionn Hand comes in to bowl to PJ Moore, and that'll be the first run on the board, and it's an extra. So delighted to have you along here today for this, as I say, first game of 3 days, Festival T20 Cricket. I'm delighted to have alongside me here Pembroke man Craig Senior. I'll be relying on you quite a lot today, as this is your home ground. Welcome along, Craig.
Thank you very much, Harry, and welcome to everybody. This first over. It's great to be out again.
Yes, I think that's exactly it. A long winter for everybody, and it's just great to be back on the pitch, and absolutely delighted to say that the sun is out across the ground here, and it's a beautiful setting this morning here for this first game. Absolutely delighted to see it.
Well, I can see from the flag beside the clubhouse that the breeze definitely coming from the southeast today, south-southeast. That's unusual direction for it. Normally comes across the ground from the west, so this will be straight into the face of Fionn Hand, his first over.
Brandon Kruger, he is opening the batting with PJ Moore. Interesting selection from the Reds there. We'll see Ali Frost in the squad. Opened last year, but they've gone for Brandon Kruger. And he's off the mark as well. So it's 3 without loss in this first over.
Yeah, there's going to be a period of settling in, one feels. First day of the Interprovincial Series, first game.
That is beautifully bowled from Fionn Hand. Right in that channel. And PJ Moore doesn't get that neck. It's behind the stumps there, the keeper. And 2 slips in front of us here. All went up. Fionn not so much. And umpire Johnny Kennedy said no. But a beautiful delivery from Fionn Hand.
Well, Hand, of course, was on that Wolves tour of Nepal recently, so it won't be lacking match fitness anyway. Perhaps back to the coolness of Dublin 4.
Yeah, it won't be quite as humid out there. But as I say, very pleasantly surprised to see us getting out there today with blue skies above. On a decent day for cricket. Maybe a few degrees warmer would be nice, but beggars can't be choosers. Just losing direction a little bit. Fionn Hand just straining a little bit early doors.
You can see he's trying to keep it very tight to Moore, not wanting to give him anything loose outside off, but as a result he's just going a little bit too far, and perhaps even with the new ball that may be counting against him as well.
Oh yeah, good lift. You mentioned about that tour in Nepal, a very successful tour. I'm sure we'll mention it a few times over the next few days, but these two in opposition here. Fionn with the ball, PJ with the bat. They would have been on that tour. Fairly successful, both. PJ Moore will be looking to cement his place here and try and get back in Ireland contention again for the senior squad. That's the end of that first over. A few extras thrown in there. A couple of runs off the bat. And it's 5 without loss from that first over.
Well, for an opening over of the new season, didn't exactly contain the fireworks, but there are a couple of deliveries there that will give Hand a positive feeling about it. He got that one that he thought it was taking the edge. And he's bowling with a good pace as well. 1 over gone then, and 5 on the board for Munster.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, Craig, just great to be back out on the field again. I know the Leinster League started on Saturday. Northwest League started as well. NCU not quite got going yet with the poor weather, but just great to see cricket started again. Looking forward to a really busy 2024 season.
Well, you can tell how much moisture there is still in this Sydney Parade pitch. It's taken its fair share of rain over the last few weeks, and it's actually a very good draining pitch. But you can see McCarthy's picking mud off his studs already, making sure that they're right for his first over. He'll have the wind behind him, bowling from the St John's end.
You mentioned he'll have the wind behind him. Does he ever not have the wind behind him here? Of course, this is home ground here. He plays his club cricket at Pembroke when he can, and obviously with the Lightning as well.
He's part of cricketing royalty here in Sydney Parade. His dad was also a first-team player here for many years. And of course his sister, Irish international many, many times. That's the great thing about Pembroke, it's very much a family-orientated club.
Short in the air, there's a man down there, but it's just going to fall short. Just fall short, possibly didn't time it there, Kruger. That may well have been to his benefit, because if he had have, the man would placed out there.
Yeah, Pembroke really stretching the boundaries here today. And as you say, if he had middled it, there was a good chance it would have reached the fielder on the square leg boundary.
I was going to mention that to you when I first came down this morning. I did remark on the square boundaries are quite big today. Are they bigger than normal?
It'll be about again, a lot depends on which wicket you're playing on here at Pembroke. Certainly down the teams, that boundary on the railway line side would come in a long way. The further across the square you go, the more it drags that boundary in, because the boundary on the wall side, obviously very fixed, and that one is as big as it can get at all times. But I even noticed with the sight screen at the end behind Barry McCarthy here is a good few yards away from the rope, and that was to allow the rope to come that much closer to the edge to the maximum possible.
Maybe not the 260s, 270s today then, possibly. A little bit bigger playing surface. In comes McCarthy again. That's well bowled. It's going to be a quick single. Man's deep at mid-on. And comfortable single. PJ Moore. Decent start here from the Lightning opening bowlers.
McCarthy very quickly searching for that part of the ground where it's going to cause the batsman the most problems. He's gone short on a couple of occasions already.
He tests out in the middle of the pitch again. Kruger in a little bit of bother. There. That's full. Well hit, but a great catch. Really good catch there. Down low.
Oh, you have to say that was just an absolutely fabulous catch at this time of the season. The hands are going to be a bit soft and maybe a bit chilly with the breeze that's out there, but it flew straight into them. Nicely taken catch, and McCarthy has his first wicket, and the first wicket falls with just 7 on the board.
It was took me by surprise a little bit there, because it was so nonchalantly taken, having been really hit quite nicely, but nicely taken low down to his right there.
It was the lack of celebration. It was just, if you saw it and it was just taken, and everyone it was almost like they assumed he was going to take that catch. And there wasn't any great joy or anything. It was just, okay, we've got him.
Just move on.
Yeah.
But it was really well taken. And first wicket falls. 7 for 1. And that just improves the Lightning start.
McCarthy will be delighted with that. First wicket of the season in the interprovincials. Did pick up a couple for his club last weekend. And I saw on the ground today as well the incoming CI president, Stella Downs, recently elected to chair president, and I'm sure she'll have a fabulous year ahead of her. World Cup involved for men and women as well.
Oh, that should have been a second wicket. Having just taken that catch in the covers, a real chance of a run out there, a mix-up between Neil, who's just come to the wicket, Jordan Neil, and PJ Moore, and that really should have been the second wicket there. You can see on screen it was a yes-no. PJ halfway down. A clean pickup. May well have seen back-to-back wickets there, but PJ Moore survives, and the score is 7 for 1 from 2.
That's a good start for the Lightning. A wicket in the first 2 overs, setting the tone. And to continue now from the nursery end.
Time hitting the pads, going down the leg. Scamper through for a leg bite.
More coherent on the cooperation between the two bats there as to whether there was a run or not. They obviously had a chat after the previous one. A clean pickup could have resulted in a disastrous run out for Munster. Run-outs aren't good at the best of times, but to have one when you've just lost your first wicket would have been careless to say the least.
Yeah, young Jordan Neil coming in at 3 for the Reds. Fee on hand. Oh, that's a good nut. Bit of lift. He plays the pull shot afterwards, young Jordan Neil, but it was too good from Fee on hand. A little bit of a story about Jordan Neil. Actually, on the way down from Belfast today, Jordan was on the train with myself. So coming down this morning, it was a late call up, and he headed down this morning. So a good chat with him on the way down.
Not too many guys carrying cricket bags on the
No.
Belfast to Dublin train this morning, so it was probably quite easy to spot for you.
He was at 6:50 this morning, and but I had a good long chat with him, and he's really keen to develop his cricket. Obviously went to the World Cup with Ireland under-19s, and he's now got a club side in Ireland. He's going to play his club cricket up with the Northern Cricket Union. That's good from hand.
This is very good from Fee on hand. He's just attacking just outside that off stump. He's not letting Neil settle at the moment. I say Jordan Neil, more than anything else at the moment, would just like one who gets the face of the bat on the ball and feels it there.
Yeah, there's no doubt he'll be quite nervous on his provincial debut here this season. It's a bit wayward. It's a great take. Terrific take down the leg side there. A bit wild from Fee on hand.
Yeah, he's certainly stretching Tucker out a bit behind the stumps there. And that was just way too short. It was never posing any danger to the batsman. Umpire signals that's the one short ball for the over. Almost looking like he was looking to just manufacture a shot just to get bat on ball there.
And his experienced partner, just off camera here, has gone down the wicket. And you can see him now. Just took a little stride down, a little word. As you said, Craig, he would just like hit the middle of the bat here, even if it doesn't go for runs. And he squirted that one away. I think it'll only be one. Down there at Third man, good return.
Even though this is a T20 and runs are looked for quickly, you get the feeling that Neil just wants to take a couple of balls just to find his way into this. And we've found in Pembroke so far this season that it's tough to get in, but once you're in, then you can make hay.
That's it. The unfortunate thing with T20 though these days, not too many dot balls allowed these days. You can't really sort of hang around too long, and especially in this power play. That's half of it gone already, and only 10 on the board. Gonna be McCarthy again.
Oh my word.
It's a beautiful ball. Just angled in, shaped away a little. Young Jordan Neal playing the wrong line possibly as well. Just exacerbated it. It rips out the off stump. And Barry McCarthy has 2.
Well, what a start for young Barry McCarthy. I say young, that's very much a relative term. But that was a beautiful delivery. Took the off stump out. You'll see it here. A very familiar run up from McCarthy.
Yeah, possibly playing with a little bit of a closed face there, as we sort of mentioned. A little bit of a nervous start for young Jordan Neal up against 2 quality opening bowlers here. That's the standard you're going to step up to in this interprovincial tournament. And Barry McCarthy has ripped out that off stump, and he has his 2nd wicket already.
Well, Munster Reds will be looking for Curtis Camphor now to really, well, let the Reds re-establish themselves in the middle. As you say, only the 10 runs on the board in this, the 4th over, 2 wickets down, and then suddenly they get to that balance between chasing runs and losing wickets.
Oh, I think he's just got a little inside edge on that. 2 noises. Otherwise, I think that appeal might have been a little bit more vociferous. Just strangled. But McCarthy really started well here.
When the wind drops away and you just see blue skies, I can think of no better place to be on a Wednesday morning.
Yeah, top stuff here for McCarthy, really is. Just looking at the batter, Curtis Camphor, who's just come in. He's obviously developed a wee bit of that reputation in Ireland colours for the man for a crisis. It's a bit of a double-edged sword that when you're a batter, if you've got that reputation, because you know, yes, it's your thing. You've obviously developed, but you don't really want to be in that position, and this is the position already for the Reds. 2 down in the 4th, and he's going to have to pull out all of those skills in the next little while here for his side.
It'll be interesting to see how Dockrell marshals his resources here, and you know, with each bowler only having 4 overs, this is McCarthy into his 3rd.
There we see, that's just straight up in the air. And Curtis Camphor has tried to play a trademark shot. Unfortunately, he's just scooped that up, and the man at 45 has taken the catch. Unfortunately, those skills we talked about won't be in show today. And McCarthy just running through the Reds at the moment. You mentioned whether he'd be bowling 2 and coming off. I would say he'll be having a word with his skipper now. See if he can have a 3rd. You can see this dismissal once again.
McCarthy comes in, and you can see it's almost premeditated from Camphor. He wanted just to get some runs on the board, and he thought that it would be an easy lift down to the clubhouse, and didn't get the power on it. And he departs after just 3 deliveries. And Munster very much in trouble now at 10 for 3. And McCarthy has all 3 of them.
Yeah, it's the old risk reward, isn't it? He gets plenty of runs with that shot. Curtis Camphor, he does play it quite early in his innings. But again, it's one of those shots when it doesn't come off, everybody starts talking about it. What are you doing? You should be playing straight down the ground and things like that, and then forgets about the number of runs that he gets with it. But,
yeah,
you know, in that situation, possibly with two already down, it may have been prudent to just hang around for a little bit and set a platform, possibly.
instead of sort of trying to ease Leinster's fingers off this game, you got the feeling that Camphor, well, he wanted to grab the game by the neck, and if it had cleared the field and run away for 4, you'd be saying, great, what a way to start your innings. As it was, he didn't clear the fielder, and that leaves Munster in a bit of a hole now.
Yeah, and it's Ollie Frost has come in now at 5.
Don't suppose he expected to be in this early.
Again, on target. Saying that, we did mention that, you know, it was a bit of a change for the Reds, throwing Brandon Kruger up there because Ollie Frost had opened in the sort of previous campaigns. Certainly last year was quite successful, and he's dropped down. So I suppose, you know, he's in the 4th over, but the opening bowlers are still on. He's kind of opening.
Yep, it won't be much of a change for him. He's facing the opening bowlers. And certainly he's facing McCarthy very much with his tail up now. The question is, how do Munster Reds progress from here? You just don't have time to build slowly. You've got to take them on. 3 slips in place now for McCarthy.
Yeah, it's really good. Couple of overs there from Barry McCarthy. First couple of overs in this interprovincial season. Seems like a one-day game here, possibly, but it's a T20. And he's only gone for 2 runs from those 2 overs. It does look a little bit on your screen there, 3 for 2.
Double wicket maiden.
It's a terrific over from Barry McCarthy. Exactly what his skipper wanted when he won the toss and inserted the Munster Reds.
And the first change of bowling now for the Leinster Lightning, and having bowled 2 of his allocation of 4, is now being replaced Ruben Wilson.
Yeah, Ruben again. One of those players who was on the under-19s World Cup squad. Performed well. And a little bit of an injury. It's curtailed that. Certainly terrific prospect.
Certainly is. Put in some great performance for the Leinster Lightning in last season's interprovincial. Certainly raised his profile with selectors.
That's a terrific opening delivery. Nipping back. I thought that was, looking on the screen here, I thought that was a reasonable shout.
Well, Wilson was certainly sold on the idea. The umpire, Kennedy, completely unmoved.
Possibly doing too much here, is it? Get a look now. Great ball, just nipping back. There you see it. Looks pretty good to me. Get a pail first up from young Ruben Wilson.
Certainly a good way to introduce yourself to the batsman.
Produces a false shot. Just to give you an idea on the screen there, obviously you can see the score 10 for 3, but current run rate just dropped to 2.3 overs remaining, and then WASP, if you haven't seen that before, that's basically the projected score given the circumstances, and that will go up and down as the game progresses. At the moment, and that's saying that the Munster Reds will scrape their way up to 118.
Well, at the moment, anything near 120 a run a ball.
That's the first shot that we've seen out of what you could even call the middle of the bat, really. Gets to PJ Moore.
Very experienced player, knew straight away that he had enough elevation to clear the ring, and that's all he wanted to do. He wasn't looking to clear the ropes. He was just pushing it out into the open spaces. 2 important runs for Munster. It's the first they've scored for a couple of overs.
Sliced away on the offside. And that, as I was just about to say to you, Craig, no boundaries in the first 27 deliveries. And that breaks that streak. A little bit wide from Wilson. PJ Moore throws his hands at it. And finally, we see a boundary.
Well, Moore has been stuck down the non-striker's end and watching a succession of partners depart. And now he gets to face some deliveries, you can see, and especially he's keen to take on Wilson.
Better that this time. Got that right in the middle. And following up from our first 4 of the innings, we have our first 6. And even though we mentioned that leg side boundary has been extended slightly here, it's in the parade. That has cleared easily and gave the passengers on the dart a little bit of a scare there.
You see on the replay of that shot, it seemed to be a shot of timing. There was no great noise off the bat. It just sort of flowed away. Beautiful shot from Moore, and in two deliveries, 10 runs, and has really made a difference to the look of the scoreline. And you were mentioning that run rate earlier. At the start of this over, it was only 2.3, and just with those 12 runs scored so far in this over, that really has raced up. And even that Wasp figure you were talking about has gone up by 10.
Yeah, just a bit of a change in plan here, possibly. Young Ruben Wilson, third man, has come up into the circle. Put out a deep point. That man at deep square leg is still out, so 2 on the boundary. Allowed in this power play. That deep point fielder is coming more and more square. Wilson coming in again to PJ Moore. That's a better delivery. He's called too early. They're going to get it quite comfortably, I think. That square leg fielder has to come around to his left. And that is the best over we've had, quite clearly, for the Munster Reds. Ruben Wilson, but I have to say, he may feel himself a little bit unlucky after that first ball. Really good appeal. And then just lost his line of length a little bit, and PJ Moore cashed in, taking 14 from that over and doubling the Reds score comfortably. So it's 24 for 3 as we move into the last over of this power play.
Well, McCarthy's going to go ahead with his third after a double wicket maiden. I think you'd have to use a crowbar to get the ball out of his hands here. Going so well for him at the moment.
Yeah, I did mention it at the end of that last over. The usual sort of format, ball 2 from your opening bowler. Take 2, and then come off, maybe 1 in the mid-innings, and then 1 at the death. But McCarthy bowling so well here. This opening spell, as you say, don't think he would have got the ball out of his hand. He's going to try and improve on those figures. You can see on the right hand side of your screen, 3 wickets for just 2 runs. Beautiful.
Super delivery. Looking for the shoulder of the bat and very nearly found it there. Frost sort of sparring at that one as much as anything else.
I just feel he's mixing it up a little bit here. Usually, T20 is about, you can't bowl the same ball, even in your opening spell when the ball's doing a little bit. So he's mixing up really well here. That was just off a good length, which took off a little bit. He's bowled a couple of Yorkers and a couple of short balls. But whatever he's bowling at the minute, doesn't seem to be going anywhere for the Reds. Dot ball after dot ball. And that one's pitched up. Yeah. Dragged Ali Frost into a very expansive drive. I think Barry McCarthy might have been just telling them that. Love to see that from the bowler. He's one of Ireland's best at that. Just nipping down and having a quick chat to the batsman, no matter what level he plays at. Likes a chat.
It's the fast bowlers union, isn't it? They do tend to have words with batsmen far more than, say, spinners. Putting it up to the batsman. Frost looking for runs. As you say, it was an expansive drive.
Yeah, bowled again. You mentioned about the fast bowlers union. I would say, in terms of having a chirp at the batters, I'd say Barry's maybe chief steward of that union, because he's quite keen on it. Nothing wrong with it, you know.
Again, so long as the line isn't crossed.
Exactly.
Depending on the chirp, but yes, never any harm just to have a quick word, even if it's just morning, as one flies past the batsman's nose.
Yeah, I think it's part of the game, as you said. As long as it doesn't get across that line, I think it's part of the game. That's down leg. That's the first poor ball that he's bowled. Just comes off the hip of Ali Frost. I'll go for 4 leg byes. Just pushing that down leg side there. He'd be disappointed with it. 4 more dots.
On this occasion, you get the feeling Frost saw it and just thought, anything on this. Thigh pad, bat, glove. It's going to fly away, and it did. It was just down the wrong line from McCarthy on this occasion.
I think young Ali Frost was trying to burgle a few runs there, because he showed the bat to the umpire. Giving his leg byes. The comeback from McCarthy. The good thing about that being leg byes, of course, they don't affect his figures. He'll be happy with that, so he remains at 3 for 2 from his 3. A real positive start from the Lightning in general, but Barry McCarthy in particular.
Well, George Dockrell now, we're out of the power play, has decisions to make as to whether he spreads his field a bit more, takes more men out of the circle. At the moment, you get the feeling attack is his first thought. 3 wickets down, just 28 off on the board after 6 overs.
Yeah, really good point, that, because you're used to seeing scores 40, 45, 50 plus in a power play for maybe 1 or 2. You have the opposition at 28 for 3. Do you then, when you've got that restriction lifted, do you continue, just leave a few out and continue with the attacking mode? Obviously no slips now. Ruben Wilson bowling here, no slips, but yeah, he's just going to, actually as we speak, he's going to push free on hand down in front of us here. He's going to go back to the boundary at fine leg. Yeah, and George Dockrell. His bowlers called that, not Dockrell himself. Ruben Wilson asking for more protection on the leg side. So 3 men out deep on the leg side as Wilson bowls to Moore. That's in the air. That should be out. And it is. No safer hands in Irish cricket. Harry Tector's. And a strange shot there for PJ Moore, as we talked about. 3 men had gone out on the leg side, so possibly he was giving himself a little bit of room towards the leg, but leading edge, straight up in the air. And as I say, no chance of Harry Tector dropping that.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think he saw the big gap short on the leg side and thought, if I just push it into that area, there's a possible 2. But the leading edge just popped up, and Tector takes the catch. 4 down now in this, the 7th over. Munster reeling a bit, really, at this stage.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a bit of a whirlwind or a hurricane, whichever way you want to put it for them. It's just been, you know, that last over at the end where they got a few runs, but apart from that, they haven't really rotated strike, and wickets have been falling. Gareth Delaney certainly wouldn't have been expecting to be coming in the 7th over, but here he is.
Well, with Gareth Delaney's performances for Ireland, one stage he was pushed up the order for his pinch hitting. He's now sort of floated back down the order for Ireland, and here he is coming in at number 6 for Munster. But you'd expect Gareth's game being the big hits, the pinch hitting, and you wonder, is that what Munster need at this moment? But no doubt he'll adapt his game to what is required as Wilson comes in.
That's a beauty. First up, really nice from Wilson.
Wilson seems to be settling back down into a line and length after that first expensive over when Moore took him on. It just seems a bit more relaxed in this over. Searching for his line and length, and he's causing the batsman difficulties now.
Yeah, the ball seems to be nipping about still. Good line that time. A new man. So yeah, we've talked about the Lightning. You know, they're already starting to think 28 for 4. We've talked about how quick this festival comes along. 3 games in 3 days for each of the teams. You know, a big win. That's what happened last year, I think, with the Knights. They got off to a really good start in the festival at the Mardike. That just set them up for the rest of the year. So even in this early stage, that's short, it's in the air. I think it's going to be safe. Top edge, Fionn Hand comes round. It'll just be a single. Again, no timing there at all. Top edge from Delaney, gets away with it.
On one hand, he'll be delighted that he got away with it and is on the board and has troubled the scorers. On the other hand, he'll know that he had no control over that shot at all. It could have gone anywhere. It managed to find turf and he got away with it. But it'll be a rude awakening for Delaney. First of all, having seen 4 of his teammates come and go.
Frost, you see, taking guard. It's the first he's been down at this end. He's had to face McCarthy pretty much. He takes a walk down.
You can see the Munster players are searching for the ball. They're not sort of letting it come to them or not letting the game come to them. They're going out looking for it. In some ways, that's what's got them in this trouble of 4 wickets down with just 29 on the board.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good observation there, that it does seem a little bit hectic at the moment without, you know, T20 itself lends itself to sort of a bit of chaos, but they don't seem to have set a plan here as to where they're going to score their runs. There's that one nipping back in again. It'll be a single.
And that's exactly why Ruben Wilson asked for Fionn Hand to be put down on the boundary. He was wary that if he was going to be bowling stump to stump, it only takes a couple of inches off and it can be turned around the corner. And that particular fielder, Fionn Hand, saving 3 runs on that occasion. Just 2 off that over. Well, that's a much better over for Wilson this time round. Picked up a wicket with the first ball and then just conceding 2 runs for the other 5.
I'd like to know what that chat is that's going on right now between those 2 Reds batters. Just what the plan is now. You know, as we mentioned, you know, runs on the board here and then try and defend, but at the moment, they seem to much of a plan. Looks like we're going to see our first bit of spin.
Well, I like this from Dockrell. He's continuing to attack, bringing the leg spinner in now. Gavin Hoey, another one who was away with the Wolves, certainly enhanced his reputation out there.
Most definitely. Also last year, game up at Stormont he played, and bowled beautifully that day. A little bit of drift, and a little bit of spin on the Stormont track. Let's see if he can. He's got a lot of control recently. Put the sign on him here, but he's been bowling well with a bit of control. It's a little bit short to start. It's cut into the offside. Coming round, but it's going to be a boundary. Frost. A bit of a loosener there from Gavin Hoy. Fingers a little bit cold there. Yeah, a little bit short.
As much as we love being out here and love the fact that summer sport is back again, there is still a bit of a chill wind.
That's much better. It's the stock delivery from Hoy. As you say, very successful tour with the Wolves. Bat and ball.
And this festival, very important for Hoy. Obviously the Irish team are off to the United States for the World Cup, Florida and New York. And this is sort of the last chance really for a couple of players on the fringe to make a case to be included in the squad.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, the Irish cricket watcher would probably say that the majority of places on the plane are penciled in, but that's what these festivals are about in IP cricket. We saw last year how Neil Rock had a fantastic series. That got him back into full senior squad contention.
And this is a
misfield there, Dockrell.
And in that regard, that Irish squad selection, this is actually a very important game because you have Hoy bowling leg spin for the Leinster Lightning, but the person in possession really of that slot on the Irish side at the moment, Ben White, playing for Munster. So it'll be interesting to compare and contrast, I think is what my old schoolmaster used to say. This one's a top edge, it's just gone behind square on the leg side, and the catch is taken. And that's the end of Frost. Again, the search for runs just causing another edge. And Hoy picks up his first, and the Lightning pick up their fifth.
Yeah, a bit of a procession here for the Reds. Trying the aggressive option again. Only Frost, the sweep. Against the spin. Didn't get on top of it. Extra little bounce. And another catch taken at 45 for the Lightning, and the fifth wicket goes down. And seemed to be a fairly consistent pattern here for the Reds, and 36 for 5 does not make good reading on day one.
Under real pressure now, if they're going to set any sort of target, you'd expect, as there usually is in cricket, at least one decent partnership to come together. But at the moment, the Lightning, well, they push Munster over. And what they're looking to do now is to stand over them and keep them down and jump.
Yeah, John McNally coming in now. Again, probably read some of the quotes from the Reds coach Jeremy Bray pre-tournament. He was looking to blood some younger players this year. Obviously that selection, Jordan Neal at the top, and now John McNally in the middle order again is on that under 19 World Cup team.
Well, this is interesting now. McNally left-handed with the leg spinner Hoy. This will cause some changes in the field. Now the question is, have the Munster management seen that Hoy's come on to bowl and have brought a left-hander to shake things up, or would McNally have been coming in at 7 anyway?
Yeah, he had that one really good knock in the under 19 World Cup scored a half century. Really looked quite good, but this is a different challenge for him here now coming into this interprovincial series. He's up against seasoned cricketers here in the Leinster Lightning lineup. And big ask for him. Good thing is he's got Gareth Delaney out there. Of experience. Chat him through it. Clontarf man. It's a tough ask, but this is what it's all about. Wasn't going to continue. And that is well hit. Delaney, has it made it? It has. It's gone over the mid-wicket boundary. Well timed from Delaney. They changed the field from the previous over where there were 3 out on the leg side, just the 2 this time. Delaney, the back foot, picks it up, deposits it for 6 runs to add to the Reds' total.
Well, having made contact with the ball, he made no effort to set off for the other end. He knew immediately that was finding the rope. More than happy with that.
Just changing the field up again. Third man comes up into the circle. Just bring a little bit extra. It hasn't gone out on the boundary. Andre Valberni. Just come into orthodox mid-wicket. Just that little bit extra protection for... spoke too soon. It's just as I finished that sentence. Ruben Wilson asked the Test captain to head out to the boundary, so he's now gone out. And we're now on the same field as we had at the start of the end of the last over, which is a deep mid-wicket, deep square leg, and a fine leg on the leg side. It's just tucked into the leg side. It will just be 1. That's possibly what PJ Moore was looking to do in that first ball of the last over. Just tuck it into the leg side. He got it horribly wrong. He lost his wicket, and then in the next over, he frost departed as well, which leaves us at 43 for 5, and we haven't really even mentioned the Craig that we're in the 9th over here. We're already nearly halfway.
Yes, these two will be hoping they can push on for 4, 5, 6, 7 overs now. So important to keep wickets in hand towards the end of the innings. Munster, well, they haven't really done that today. Good ball from Ruben Wilson. Just cramping up McNally a little bit. He wanted to cut that down to third, but it's maybe just a bit too tight on the body to do that.
Yeah, these two know each other quite well. They both in that under-19 squad and also play club cricket in Leinster, obviously. They'll know each other quite well.
Another one with a lack of footwork from McNally, just waving the bat at it, really.
Yeah, once again, experienced partner. Just pops down. Quick word. I don't want to say too much, but just a quick word here and there. Calm him down.
Yeah, it's more about an attitude than the actual words you say, I think, at that stage.
That's nicely bowled from Wilson. He sees there's not much in the way of footwork at the minute from McNally as he's just come to the crease, pitched that one up, let it angle across. See, just coming on the left of your screen, can't quite see it, but Balbernie back into slip now. The 9th over, and that sort of tells you everything about the current situation.
This is good bowling from Wilson. gets through his over. Just that one delivery at the start of the over that Delaney pucks down to Kale corner. But Wilson now into his spell. And you get the feeling that he's feeling a bit more comfortable than he may have done at the end of the first over.
Yeah, as I say, you can hear that volume from the Lightning. Obviously happy with the situation, but skipper Tector will be looking for them to clean this up. Hoey comes in, floats it up. It's a bump ball. Well, it wasn't a chance. Tector puts it down and exasperated that he didn't hold on to that. It wasn't a chance though, it was a bump ball. Great catch maybe.
Cut away behind square on the offside. They'll just take the single. That'll bring McNally on strike against Hoey again. The leg spinner on the left-hander.
Shot this time from McNally, timed well, but well fielded there and on the boundary by field hand. In return, just a single.
But nicely just played away, didn't try to overhit it. And that may be the secret at this stage, is take what you're being offered. Another one played into a similar spot. And they decide against a second. As Burney does some backing up for Hoey.
Yeah, will be a bit of a wild throw. Possibly what you were talking about there, Craig. Maybe tried to overhit that one and let the ball just come to him.
And it's got to be tough. The first game, as we've mentioned, of this 2024 Interprovincial Series. It's not like I suspect on Friday you'll see different shots as players relax into the tournament.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Not just the first game of the Pro Series, it's almost the first game of cricket that really some of the guys have played in quite some time out. A lot of indoor training over the past couple of months. Certainly for the guys who aren't involved in the sort of international scene, whether it be senior or A tours. Haven't really had much chance to get out on grass and just be out in the open. Sometimes there's a little bit of getting some mileage in your legs here as well, so it's not going to be easy for batters in particular. And,
well, that was one of the important things I felt about the Wolves going on tour. Perfect time of the year so that they go and play cricket out there, and then when they come back to their clubs, they're match fit. So you just can't beat being out in the middle. You can indoor net, you can have bowling machines or coaches flinging at you or whatever. You just can't beat time in the middle. Match fitness, I think, it used to be called back in the day.
yeah, well, that's it. Just being on the pitch and putting yourself through those match skills rather than just being in a net. So Harbinson here. Let's come on. Get it any easier for the Reds.
And it has been a struggle for them so far. Here we are entering the second half of this innings, and they're only on 45 runs.
A little bit of respite here, possibly. That's been called as the first no ball of the year. See the umpire on screen. free hit. No fair with that then. Means that the batter now has free license to hit the next ball anywhere they like, with the proviso they can't be out unless they are run out. That could get McNally going here. Free chance. Short ball. I can't get any on it, so gets away with it. Harbinson.
As a bowler, that's exactly the response you want after the no ball. Worst thing possible is conceding runs from that free hit. You know, it's your own fault anyway at the start.
Yeah.
Just overstriding.
Just turned off the hip.
And that's the sort of shot that's going to give McNally a bit of confidence. Saw it cleanly onto the bat, played it to where he wanted to, took his single. And the half century for Munster is now within reach. It's just taken them a little longer and more wickets than they would have wanted.
The thing about, noticed over the past few years with T20 cricket now, in this situation, it goes without saying that the Lightning are well happy with the situation. The old M word, momentum word. If the Reds were to get above that Wasp score, for example, and get it up to maybe even 130 if we're talking, not sure what happened there.
Well, when you look in the book afterwards, you'll just see a dot, but that will not describe that ball in any way.
I think that's one for the bloopers. I think at the end of the season, trying to bowl the ball out of the back of the hand, I think. Halfway down the track, went past Delaney, about 10 miles an hour, trickled to the keeper. As you say, it goes down as a dot, same as that one. It was much more orthodox.
You can see Harbison is very aware of how strong Delaney is down the ground. He does hit a big ball, and it does tend to be in the V. So he's trying not to feed that shot anyway.
It's well bowled again. As you say, keep Delaney tucked up there. End of another over. Just a no ball and a single from it. So again, nothing really coming for the Reds. But as I was sort of suggesting there, you get yourself into a hole, which they are at the minute. And the Lightning are already possibly thinking about, this is an easy day at the office here, and suddenly, if there's a good patch of 4, 5, 6 overs where the Reds do get going again, that mental challenge then for the Lightning is to say, well, if we'd have taken that at the start, but from 49 for 5, possibly, we should have wrapped that up. So there's still things to play for here for the Reds if they can just get a partnership together and start picking up, 5, 6 and over and hold those wickets.
Well, he's looking to take anything to the leg side there, McNally. And I think Hoey almost sensed that and pushed it a bit wider.
Yeah, nicely bowled. Lots of space in that leg side. Well, that could be out. Oh, he's dropped it.
It's a great effort from Harbison. He managed to parry it up, but then couldn't follow up and get to it. Great effort, though.
Yeah, just off to his right. Bobbled up in the air and just couldn't get across to the ball as it came down, and it just popped out. A lifeline for McNally. It's down the ground. He'll take a single. That's what I'm talking about there. If that gets taken, they're 6 down and just continue losing wickets. So finally, we take over to that half century. It's not a half century for any individual. Unfortunately, it's for the team, and it's taken into the 12th over.
69 deliveries it's taken them to get to 50. And that's sort of below a rate that they'd have wanted in a 50-over game, let alone in a T20. It's just 51 deliveries remaining. And the thing the Lightning have to watch out for now is that the bowlers don't go chasing those 5 wickets. If they just keep doing what they're doing, the game has been coming to them quite nicely. But if you start then trying to take a wicket with every ball or just trying to push things through, then you could end up that suddenly you look around and there's been a 30-40 run partnership quite quickly.
Just on that point, just thinking, I was watching what was going on there, and I do see a lot of chat in the Lightning. They haven't. When you're on top, it's easier to sort of keep that vibe going, but I do like to see them changing the field and still having their thoughts about what they're trying to do here and plans in place to try and take wickets. They've taken slip out from McNally and put in another fielder where that last sort of shot went, where Harbinson was at cover. Extra man in there. Paul Burney's gone in, but McNally good enough. Just dropped that one into the offside for a single.
This has been a good spell from Hoey. In his 3rd over now.
That's in front of square. I think it will be cut off. It is. Comfortable 2 though. Yeah, but just the one boundary I think coming off Hoey. Otherwise, he's been pretty on the money here.
And that's it with the leg spinner. They have to be on the money. I mean, for years we thought that the general trend was that leg spin was dying out of the game. And then, of course, Shane Warne came along and showed us all what it was possible to do. But, yeah, he's done well there. Leg spin has become such a T20 specialist almost, in that you're hunting those wickets, and wicket taking has become just as important as dot balls, really. Gone are the days when you picked 5 seamers who were there or thereabouts and just kept bowling a lot. Now you've got to have such a balanced attack. More options for the skipper, the better.
Harbinson continue to McNally. Got the hold of that, and it's in the gap. That's a good shot from John McNally. Got on top of that one and pulled it down to the boundary. That's 4 more to the total.
Welcome runs for Munster there. Now he's just turning on that one and finding the big gap. Burney doing some neat backing up. And Delaney, well, it was more a question than a call.
I don't think there was a run there.
Never a single there.
Tim Tector doing the fielding. Point went straight to him. That is middled. That's even better shot. Very similar to the first ball of the over, but this time he's got really hold of it and he's pulled that clean over the man. Didn't worry about the fielder there at square leg on the boundary. And did he clear the wall?
No.
Did he clear the wall?
It hit the fence just above the top of the wall, but remained on Cyril's way. The path down the side there. That's a nice shot on the offside.
Yeah, that's beautiful from McNally.
And we said very early on in this innings that it's the sort of ground and the sort of pitch where it's tough to get in, but once you get in, then you can make hay, and perhaps McNally now feeling he has the measure of this pitch. That's a beautiful shot. Again, 10 in 2 balls. We saw that earlier on.
Nice shot that from McNally, just let it come to him again. As you mentioned earlier, didn't try and overhit that one, used the pace on the ball. Once it beat Tector at point. Ran away for 4. 14 off the first 4 deliveries. What can Harbinson do? Better line that time. No width.
Another neat piece of fielding by Tim Tector. Good eye-hand coordination there on a couple of occasions. And just seeing the fielder picking the ball up that cleanly gives the batsman sort of no single to him, so. Going down the ground on this occasion. That's another single. That's another over. The score has moved on to 69 for 5 off 13. And these two have put together a bit of a partnership now. 33, certainly the biggest partnership we've seen today, Ali.
Most definitely. You know, I've talked about it, as I say, that momentum. 7 overs to go here. So, you know, if these two can keep going at a reasonable rate, suddenly that figure goes up into the 110s, 120s again. And from a position where the Lightning were thinking we could knock this over for 70 or 80. You just got to chase those extra. Now, at the start of the game, if you said to George Dockel, you're chasing 120 here, he'd have said, thank you very much. But just with the way the innings has gone, that's what I'm talking about. T20 sort of can change, play tricks with your mind a little bit at times.
Yeah, sometimes fitting a whole game into so few overs presents so much of its own challenges. Gavin Hoey's last over for this innings. He starts with a single out to the point boundary. Nearly getting himself down to the non-striker's end. Now leg spinner to leg spinner.
Just looking in front of us, Barry McCarthy's here at long off. I think it's Harry Tector at long on. Fairly favoured area for Gareth Delaney against spin. There it is, dead straight. Harry Tector does well.
Nearly beaten by the spin on the bounce, one you always have to watch. But yes, you can see that for Gareth Delaney, deep mid-wicket, deep long on and long off, you can see where they feel that the strength of Delaney is for the big shots.
It's McNally, he's taking it on, and he's taking it on really well. Dead straight. Straight over the bowler's head, no chance. Even if that was inside the rope, it would have gone for 4. As it was, it connected really well. Another 6 to the total.
It's nice how he just waited for that. He saw it was in the slot for him. Didn't try and overhit it. Didn't try and power it down the ground, but just placed it down and took the 6 runs. 77 for 5. These two, well, I can't believe that the ball has stopped doing everything. I think that these two, as I said, have got themselves in and are now starting to feel a bit more comfortable in the middle. It's a good partnership for them and for Munster.
Yeah, particularly McNally now. A couple of boundaries, 4 boundaries in the last 2 and a bit overs. Means then you can take your 1s and 2s. 2 good overs in a row. Good spell from Hoey though. 1 for 25. Didn't have that chance. It was dropped by Harbinson. Good stuff from Hoey though. 1 for 25, as I say. Ruined a little bit. That's that last over. Going for 10. But yeah, good to see in this partnership. We talked about it when he came in. That, you know, McNally very young and experienced, and he had an experienced partner there, but he's the one that's been sort of providing the impetus here. He's been the one hitting the boundaries, and really that's kind of for me what interprovincial cricket is about as well. You know, bringing these young guys through, putting them in situations where it's not club cricket, they're playing with international players, but watching them stand up and sort of take the reins if you want.
Yep, stand up and be counted. And what I do like here is how Delaney has very quickly taken on what I would call the senior role of just guiding his partner, helping him establish himself, and now that gives Delaney the freedom, knowing his partner is well set, and he's taken Harbison on and deposited him into the gardens over long on. There'll be a slight delay while we find another ball.
That's a biggie. I'm sorry, but that's a biggie. That's a big hit. Just straight over the top, as we say, like an arrow, and didn't move.
Not at all. Didn't need to.
First sight for umpire coming out with the set of balls.
Azim Ali begged the third umpire today. But the good thing for Munster here now is they've got that run rate up to 6. They still have the best part of 6 overs remaining, and you can see that Wasp score has jumped quite dramatically. We saw that as low as the 110s earlier on, and I think if Munster could get themselves up to 133, they'd be very happy on the sidelines considering the start they've had.
Certainly. You know, when we're talking about this would be the final score in the 80s, you know, and these two have played well now. Sits straight at the fielder.
That was a shame for Delaney. If he put it a yard or two either side of Dockrell, no man covering behind him, it would have run away to what is the shortest boundary, I suspect, on the ground, over by the clubhouse.
That'll be a single. I'll take these two. 50 partnership, I think. That's 50 for these two, and really fantastic work from the two of them. We've sort of said the partnership has really worked well. Only going for his shots, Delaney's been hanging in there and letting him do it. But something that was really badly needed for the Munster Reds, 36 for 5. And these two have taken it along to 86.
Again, you can see how he's spotting that massive gap on the leg side. The single's there to be taken if they want it. And on this occasion, he couldn't just get the ball out from underneath him.
Yeah, really slower ball there from Harbison again, possibly to the back of the hand. And followed up. A little bit of extra effort. A dot. Ball left in the over. Boundary off this ball would make it another really good over for the Reds.
I'm sure the side on the sideline are now starting to think that a total they can defend may be in sight.
That's in the air. It's gonna just drop short. Just drop short. Dunker like there. Didn't quite time it, which again, he's probably happy with, but that hits the over. 8 from it. He's got 5 overs left now for the Reds. We saw pictures a little bit earlier. You may have seen a few people dotted around the ground here. It's a beautiful day here. Pembroke Cricket Club, Sydney Parade. So if you're in the area, pop down and watch a wee bit of interprovincial cricket. Of course, we've got this game almost halfway through now. We've got another game this afternoon, which will be the reigning champions, the Northern Knights, taking on the Northwest Warriors. So So as I say, if you're in the area now or a little later, why not come down if you can't make it? Of course, we'll continue to have coverage here right throughout the day.
Another change of bowling for the Leinster Lightning now. Captain bringing himself on. With just 5 overs remaining, be interesting to see how Dockrell sees out this innings with his bowling resources.
That's in the air. I think the man is not going to get it. It's just over him. Down there. That's just cleared the rope, but again, well hit from Joe McNally. He moves into the 30s. Just got enough on that.
Well, if you ever wanted something to describe the thin line between success and failure, this is an example. Just getting enough to get it over the fielder. The fielder was in the right place, just the field wasn't big enough for him. Dockrell wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. Hugely experienced. And does exactly what his side needs and provides another wicket. McNally looking to push on with just as we enter into these last 5 overs. And on this occasion it was powered straight to the fielder on the offside. And the 6th wicket does fall, but that was the stand that Munster needed.
Well, yeah, and just a little bit unlucky there, possibly, from McNally. Picked the man out, didn't quite time it though. And that was a much-needed knock for the Reds. McNally's gone for 35. They got to be pleased with that, to be fair. When he came in, did look a little bit nervous on it, but once he got his first runs on the board and then his first boundary, got into it, and as we've talked about, he's got his side up to 93 there. Good partnership with Delaney. And, you know, the Reds can look ahead now and try and set a target, which certainly didn't look like it maybe 15, 20 minutes ago.
Oh, McNally doing a fabulous job for Munster on that occasion. Liam McCarthy is the new batsman now.
We've seen that this guy can do a bit of damage with the bat as well. These sort of circumstances, last sort of 4 to 5 overs.
I'd say he's the first batsman who expected to be out at this time. First 5, all out a bit early.
Not too high. He's continuing to plead. It's a serious appeal.
Big smile on George's face, and I suspect a big smile on McCarthy's as well. The umpire absolutely unmoved.
Yeah, I think that will be high.
Possibly high, possibly umpire's call going down leg. Oh, this is a mixed bag from Dockrell. He went for 6 off the first ball, took a wicket with his 3rd ball. And 2 dots.
Well filled it. Yeah, it was a mixed bag there indeed, because the ball after the wicket, the appeal looked like he bowled a bit of a seamer. You know, he sort of seemed to be cross seamed. Then that last ball, he really put a bit of a tweak on it. So yeah, going through the repertoire there, George. It was quite interesting for him to bring himself on in the 16th over, because if he wasn't skipper, I'm not sure if I was a spinner and somebody threw me the ball on the 16th over, I'd say thanks, skipper. But because he's a skipper, he can do these kind of things.
Well, he came in, he broke the partnership. Not really a big turner of the ball, George Dockrell. As you say, he sometimes is bowling left arm medium seam.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice to see him. He's bowled quite well in the interprovincials over the past couple of years.
It's good to see him bowling again.
Yeah.
He went through a long period there where he was just concentrating on his batting. So just 4 overs remaining now, and Munster still yet to cross into triple figures. We'll be looking to do that as soon as possible now. 6 wickets down, 93 on the board.
Johnson back on. Good start. In the block hole. You can see Gareth Delaney's setting himself up here for this finish. He's probably the key. Yes, McCarthy can hit it a little bit and scored some good runs recently. But I think if it's Delaney in these last sort of 23 deliveries, might make the difference. It's in the air, but it's not going to be caught. It's over the boundary. That man looks forlornly as it heads over again. Just got enough on that again, Delaney. As I say, I think he's going to be the one that takes it on now. Nicely picked up. 6 more.
Delaney will feel that with number of deliveries remaining running out, now's the time to go. McCarthy, of course, scored 85 in the under-23 tournament last weekend. Delaney's gone big again, and this time, well, fortune favours the brave as it comes off the edge of the bat and flies down to third for another boundary. Munster do like scoring their 10s in 2 balls.
They do, yeah. It's the 3rd time that it's happened in this innings already. We literally just mentioned that they hadn't crossed the 3 figures as yet. It's been achieved. And their 50 came off just before 12 overs, I think 11 and a half. And now 5 overs later, we're across the 100. It's in the gap. That's going to be another boundary. Well placed this time. 2 men out on the leg side boundary. Can't do anything about that. We just mentioned about Gareth Delaney. 6-4-4.
Oh, this is what Delaney can do, and this is how he made his name as well. Big hitting in the lower order. And it's taking Munster from a position of, well, great weakness, really. He came in the 7th over. And he's scoring at a good rate as well. And now he's pushing on towards the end. He'll be hoping to be there at the end as Munster will want him to be. And if he is, then that Wasp score 136, very, very doable.
That's a biggie again. He's connected with that one, and that is, almost going to take out the floodlights. It's not high. That's a 10. I'm sorry, but that's a 10.
That was a massive hit, climbing up over the height of the floodlight, and then coming down in somebody's garden. It was up there a long time and went a long way. You can see Barry McCarthy, he's just looking forlornly over the wall. Nothing he could do about that, not even fetch it.
Oh, that's a serious hit from Gareth Delaney. It really is. And it's 20 firmly over. And as we sort of predicted at the start of it, he was setting himself. Can Wilson get out of this? Take the 1, keep the strike. Almost a perfect over for the Munster Reds. 21, Delaney on strike.
What a magnificent over from a Munster point of view. Delaney taking himself from 23 to 44 in the space of 5 deliveries. And 3 overs left now. Fee on hand coming on at the St John's end. He'll bowl 2 overs of the 3.
Yep. McCarthy will be the other, you would think. But now, these 2 guys coming back now, it would have been an option for Dockwell even to throw Fee on hand or McCarthy another over a few overs ago before these 2, you know, when McNally was going, before he got set. But now Delaney in particular now has got set.
Yes.
He's setting himself up for these last 3 overs. And as I say, there can be a little bit of carnage at the end. That's what you keep your bowlers back for. Your better bowlers are at the end. That's what they're here for. Can Fionn Hand do the business for the Lightning? Be it indeed. And it is. He's done the business, exactly that. I think it's Seamus Lynch out there, is it? Can't quite see it at the moment, it's not. It's a good catch. Just steadied himself under it. Been watching the ball sail over him a few times down there, but Delaney perishes. The first ball of the 18th over. Nice catch. Got there nice and early. Took the catch. A big breakthrough for the Lightning.
And you could see that Delaney was very much looking to take on the bowling at this stage. 18 balls remaining, he thought. Take on, he'd have been looking to face sort of 12 of those at least and try and push the score on. But he perishes for 44.
Yeah, well batted from Delaney, as I say. He was taking it nice and easy at the start, letting McNally take most of the plaudits in that partnership, but then as soon as he got out, he sort of realised last 4 or 5 overs here, I'm going to have to step up, and particularly in that last over, taking 21 off it. It's just giving the Munster Reds a little bit of a chance here.
As I say, getting to a score that they'll feel they at least have a chance of defending.
Fionn Hand again. And we just mentioned at the start of the over that that's the reason you keep your better bowlers. Fionn Hand has come back here and got the wicket first ball, follows it up with a dot. And, just close this out with his last 2 overs. Josh Manley on screen there. Carved through the offside. It'll just be 1.
They don't have a huge amount of wickets in hand, but with only 15 deliveries remaining, you get the feeling they're going to be chasing most of those now. An effort to get above 120, run a ball. It used to be a time that 120 was considered a good score in T20s. No longer the case. You're seeing some really crazy scores being produced around the world in 20 overs now.
For more an appeal, I think. Just to try and put the umpire off a little bit, because that was always going to go down. Leg side, a little bit of a pad. Yeah, you can see the umpire there indicating a very non-believing Fionn Hand that was going down leg side. We'll see it here.
The explanation was full and frank and
correct.
and correct.
Yeah, that's 4 leg byes there. Room there from McCarthy. Straight to Harry Tector. He is, as you would expect at this stage, right on the edge of the circle. Single. Bring Barry McCarthy up into the circle at mid-off. This last ball. Only a bit of a wind there. Doesn't get anything on it. So not a bad over at all for the Lightning at this stage. Certainly picking up the wicket of Delaney. Probably plus 20 on the chart, you would say, for the Lightning in terms of the total. So Fionn Hand does his job. That's 120 for 7 with 2 to go.
2 deliveries remaining, 2 overs remaining, 12 deliveries. I would say target number 1 of 120, run a ball, will be required from the Leinster Lightning, and anything over here now will be a bonus for the Munster Reds.
Even so, I've talked about it quite a few times now. They've dragged themselves back in to this game. Just one meaningful partnership, but sometimes in the shortened game, that's all it takes.
We did say there would be one partnership somewhere in this, and that partnership of 50 plus has made such a difference to the whole game, really. It will change the way Leinster approach the chase.
Yeah, but look, I mean, we could be looking in half an hour, 45 minutes time, and the Lightning could come out and blitz away at it. But, you know, at least there's now the back of their mind, they've got a contest now, as opposed to when we were looking at chasing 70 or 80.
Yeah.
We don't have a game, whereas, you know, even if we stop now, you know, 120, 130, you can't just go out and, you may well do it, you may well go out and blaze it, but there's always in the back of your mind now that if we lose a couple of wickets, it puts the pressure on. So
sure,
let's see what the Reds can do here. If
the Reds could lose 5 for 36, there's absolutely no reason that the Leinster Lightning also couldn't find themselves in such difficulty.
Slower ball bouncer, very effective at the death.
Yeah, the slower ball bounce is something that's come into the game in the last decade or so. You always thought it was just a long hop.
Yeah.
But these days, batsmen are so set up and they have so little reaction time that sometimes a premeditated shot, and then you get this slower ball and you're so far through your shot by the time the ball reaches you. It can be a very useful delivery.
Yeah, there's lots of things that you see nowadays that previously would have been considered not great. It's gone.
There we go.
Straightforward catch behind. And Barry McCarthy has got, I think, 3 deliveries now to try and pick up a 5-for and possibly the best ever figures in IP20 cricket. That's his 4th. He's only gone for 2 runs. It's quite outstanding, really. You know, it's sort of unbelievable.
Well, if you came to the interprovincials and
he's done well to reach that.
He has.
So a shorter man wouldn't have got near that.
If you wanted to enhance your reputation, then for McCarthy, that's the best he could do. 4 wickets to his name now, and he was pretty instrumental in knocking over the top order. Munster Reds found themselves 10 for 3. McCarthy had taken all those first 3 wickets, and now he's picked up a 4th.
Mike Frost out there now. You know, just talking about those things that changed a wee bit. It used to be, you had a big hoik and hoiked it in the cow corner. It was like, oh, a big slug. Now they call it a slug sweep.
Oh, it's a far classier
shot now, you know. Whereas it's still a hoik.
It's still the blacksmith shot.
When in doubt. So let's see if McCarthy can pick up his 5th. And as I say, possibly take those plaudits for the best ever figures in IP20 cricket. 2 for 4 at the moment, quite incredible.
And
would you believe it? Would you believe it? Barry McCarthy puts his head in his hands. He can't quite believe that. His hands in his pockets now. And that is a wicket. First ball. Michael Frost has gone first ball, and Barry McCarthy takes his 5th wicket. He's only conceded 2 runs in today's game. Quite incredible.
Established international McCarthy, and he's showing it now. 5 for 2 in an interprovincial. He's got to be delighted with that start to his festival. And the Leinster Lightning will be delighted with him as well. around the wicket to the left-hander. Just a short ball, really, and it was never really connected properly, and just lifted it into the fielder's hands. Reuben Wilson with another catch.
Yeah, we're talking about the individual sort of aspect of it there with McCarthy. Some unbelievable figures, and he's got a chance of getting 6 here. But obviously that's helping the team as well. As you say, he took out the top order, and now he's coming back to clean up the deal. And you can't really ask for any more from your premier bowler. That's exactly what he's there to do. Here we go then. Can he go for the hat trick? Barry McCarthy to White. And, yeah, Ben White gets on it, squeezes it down for a single.
Making a mess of McCarthy's figures, really.
Just the 3rd run that he's conceded from his spell of 4. Yeah, as you say, Irish international that he is, but I think this might be a bit of table talk for the team. You might use this a few times. You remember the day, because this has been quite exceptional for a first run out of the season. Last ball of his spell coming up. He's got his namesake at the other end. McCarthy to McCarthy here. The last ball of the 19th over. Would you believe it? The umpire's going to let away with this. It's not a wide, just buys.
Well, that's possibly the worst bowl of his spell, and he saved it for last.
I'd say it's quite definitely is. He didn't bowl one down leg saves, went for 4 leg buys earlier, but what a spell. And again, it won't count. Barry McCarthy finishes his 4 over spell, and he's taken 5 for 3. Quite incredible. As we've mentioned a few times, pretty sure that that's the best ever figures returned in an IP20 match.
Well, even ignoring the fact he's just taken 5 wickets, to bowl 4 overs for 3 runs, going at a run rate of 3/4 a run and over. I mean, his captain's going to be delighted with that economy rate. And then you add in 5 wickets, of which 3 of them were the first 3 to fall. So he's really has done a super job.
Yeah, as I say, it's a good day at the office for Barry. And yeah, he might be having a word. Having a little chat with Fionn at the minute. All right, come on. Finish it up here in this last over. This could be quite important, this last over here. So Reds can possibly squeeze 8, 9, 10 from it and get up to mid-130s. Or Lightning could close it out.
Well, they have to be thinking that every run they can pick up here is a run that Leinster are going to have to get in the second innings. And even if they only were to take a single from the next 5 balls and get up into the 130s, at least they know they've set a target that will give their bowlers a chance.
Of course, you've now got Ben White out there on that A tour.
Yep.
Market himself as a wee bit of a batsman now. Chat about him. I think I was looking at the strike rates for the series, and I think he had the highest strike rate of the whole squad. Didn't get too many runs, mind you, but
did so quickly.
McCarthy on strike. Nice shot down the ground. It'll only be 1.
And again, I don't think Leinster will mind too much singles being picked up here. Obviously, they'd love to just bowl the Munster Reds out. Only needs 1 more wicket. But just from an overall gameplay situation, singles, I think, are considered good for Leinster at this stage.
Again, they'll possibly push for 2. It's Harry Tector. He tried to run out Ben White. Hasn't managed it. Tucker tried a little early knock of the bails off there.
Yeah, if it had been a direct hit, I think it would have been closer. But on this occasion, Ben White using the speed of youth, and he knew very early on that he wanted two there.
Let's have a look at it here. The ball's coming in.
Yeah, the direct hit would have had him.
Would have done. Yeah, possibly not cleanly taken on the bounce. And again. Get away with that, I think. Outside the off.
Actually, probably not a bad delivery from hand there. You know that White is looking to get bat on ball however he can.
Yeah, probably just the edge would be the worry there. If he gets anything on that in terms of an edge, it's going to go because he got third man up. Just 2 to go now. There is that edge, but a great stop. Yeah, the young man there. Placed it short third, gets down to his left and pulls it in. Melbourne drops off the orthodox third man there. Good stop though, saved his team 3.
Been a fair few times Andy Balbirnie has thrown himself around on the ground here.
They're going to take a bye. Just keep an eye on the umpire here. He calls, is it a bye or a wide? Indeed it is. It's called a wide.
Lorcan Tucker will have to put the gloves back on. He's gone striding off to the sidelines. Lorcan Tucker, of course, last weekend scored 139 for Pembroke, for his club side.
Big season for Lorcan, probably get to that. Big festival here, but here we go. This is hopefully the last ball. We're going to try and take a bye again. He missed the opening one, and Ben White gets home. So we do finish the innings with that mid-130 score, and from where we were after the halfway point, the Munster Reds will be delighted with that, in all honesty. Yes, at the start they'd have been looking for a few more, but from halfway, they've done well in the second part of the innings. Got themselves up to 134 for 9.
Well, you mentioned there the start that they had. They were 36 for 5, so those last 4 wickets bringing 98 runs for Munster and giving them a chance in their second innings, but undoubtedly the star of that first innings of interprovincial cricket in 2024 belongs to Barry McCarthy. 5 for 3. There is the red card. Ali,
yeah,
few highlights there.
That's the Reds card, and as you've mentioned already, Craig, the top order just blown away by McCarthy, and then that middle order, Delaney coming in and scoring 44. Impressed with John McNally, struggled at the very outset of his innings, but got into it, got 35 from 31, and then a few extras at the end there, total 21, something that Lightning might have to look at. Got them up to 134. The partnerships, the major one in the middle order there, from Delaney and McNally, really important for them. McNally taking the lead in it, and then Gareth Delaney took over, and that 21 was off 1 over with McCarthy there. So 134 for the Reds.
Well, there's only one name really that stands out on that card, highlighted in blue, and quite rightly so. McCarthy, 4 overs with 2 maidens. One could only imagine how many dot balls there are in that. 3 runs in 4 overs, but most importantly, those 5 wickets. He did the damage to the top order. The other 4 wickets were spread around: Hand, Wilson, Hoey and Dockrell. Few of them going for a couple of runs. Wilson, a chastening experience for him, but he'll come back stronger after that.
There's your match summary. So in this first IP20 game here at Sydney Parade of the festival, the Reds have got to 134 for 9. And we'll be back in around 20 minutes when the Leinster Lightning will be chasing 135. Join us then. Welcome back, everyone. We are here at Sydney Parade, home of Pembroke Cricket Club in Dublin. And we're right in the middle of the opening game in the IP20 Festival for 2024. You can see the nice reds and blues out there. It's the Munster Reds in the field, and of course the Leinster Lightning in blue now batting. And we've completed our first innings. A bit of an up and down roller coaster for the Reds. 36 for 5 at one stage, but a good fight back in the second part of the innings has taken them up to 134 for 9. You would say below par. I'm delighted to have Craig Senior below with me here. As we say, Craig, below par, but first game of the season, we never know until both teams have batted. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we say it's below par just on the basis of what you'd expect, but again, new wicket, new season. You may end up finding out that 134 is enough, but Munster will certainly be hoping that. No ball to start with. Not ideal from Manly. Bowling from the St John's end. And a free hit for Andrew Balbirnie.
Yeah, not a great start. Josh Manley, we've just been talking about. Not a great deal of leeway here for the Reds. And they're going to give Andrew Balbirnie a free hit to start. He's got the hold of it. Man down there does well. It'll be 2. Saves a couple. And that far boundary. And the Leinster Lightning are off and running.
It's just really a flick from Balbirnie. It wasn't the full-blown swing of the bat. He just played it down there towards the clubhouse. And a nice bit of fielding kept it to 2.
That's in the air, and it's gone. Catches the leading edge. And we said it wasn't a great start from Manly with the new ball. Let's change that. Just a good length, holding up in the pitch possibly, taking the leading edge. Balbirnie perishes. That's the first wicket down for the Lightning.
It seemed to stick in the pitch, and Balbirnie looking just to turn it round onto the leg side and on the leading edge, and it just popped out to the fielder. And that's not the ideal start for the Leinster Lightning. And Munster, well, their mood would have lifted from that 36 for 5, and they got to a final total that they feel they could defend, and that's an ideal start now. And it will really encourage them. You'll hear a bit of chatter in the field now, I suspect.
Yeah, and a simple catch for the lady at cover. Brings Lorcan Tucker out. As we sort of mentioned at the end of that innings, big 100 for Lorcan Tucker on Saturday in the Leinster League. This is a step up now, though. And the provincial cricket here now, he'd like to get a few runs under his belt early in the season. Josh Manley to continue. Just fended off down the third man to get him off the mark. Yeah, just looking at that first ball, going for a no ball, you're immediately thinking, oh, I could go for a boundary here, and immediately the over's under pressure. But as a bowler, you can always come back. Even if the ball goes to the boundary for a 4, you've got another go on the next ball, and Manley's just shown that and taken a wicket on his third ball.
Well, as they used to say, as a bowler, you always get another chance. As a batsman, you only get one.
Tim Tector now on strike. Just to start, the Reds wanted. They've got a strike early. Just get the nerve jangling for the Lightning, as we talked about at length during that first innings. The Lightning, it's a natural reaction when you've got a team 5 down for almost no runs to start thinking ahead and think we've got this one in the bag. T20 cricket has shown that it's the old never over till it's over. A little bit of shape here. Josh Manley does bowl dominantly out swingers. Start of an innings. Obviously with a white ball doesn't usually hold that too long. It does look as if he's getting a little bit of shape.
Windmore coming from the seaside now.
A bit of a mix-up. But safely home. Gets him off the mark. An eventful opening over.
Well, that seemed to just be another no ball.
Oh, I've missed it. Apologies.
Umpire standing well away from the stumps to make sure the scorers see him.
You should have stood the stumps, let me see him.
And a second free hit, second no ball in the over.
Yeah, that's a disappointment there. Tector, who gets to face that.
Of course, because they ran the single, he's able to make changes in the field. And the first change is a man has gone out to deep mid-wicket. Alistair Frost out there patrolling up and down the laneway.
Oh, that's an incredible shot.
That is nowhere near where he wanted that to go. It was an ambitious shot at the start. It came off the shoulder of the bat and flew away down to third in the end. And he picks up a boundary, and that really is a mixed bag, that over. Bit of everything.
Completely. We'll just see that shot again, and you'll probably be looking to the right of your screen for the ball as he sets up with it, but instead it goes off to the left and over the top of McCarthy and goes for a boundary, and just changes the whole aspect of that over. At 6 for 1, you were thinking that's exactly what the Reds started. I know it's only 4 runs, but it just changes. It's 10 off the over now. And yes, they've picked up a wicket, but they haven't got a great deal in the bank in terms of runs. So just those extra sort of 5 runs at the end of that over with the no ball and then the boundary. But it's going to be Liam McCarthy take up the mantle. Let's see what he can do. It's Tim Tector facing up. Oh, not just yet, as Liam McCarthy pulls out. We'll have to try that one again.
Well, we've seen plenty so far in this match. Big hitting from a couple of the Munster Red players.
Pretty sure that'll be a wide.
I think Liam McCarthy was in more danger of landing that one on his front foot than he was causing any problems for Tim Tector. Could let that one sail over his head. And this is part of the problem now for the Munster bowlers as well, is that they're going to be striving to take wickets, striving to get their side back in the game.
Single, back, boundary, just be 1. But yeah, that is right. That's a lot of times you go off your plans then. Normal lengths you would bowl if you were sort of setting up an innings, or in the first innings you would just bowl normally. But when you've got a total on the board that you're trying to defend, if it's sort of less than what you would think, you do sort of tend to change the length you would bowl and try and bowl the magic ball and get wickets, because that's what you've got to do. But sometimes it doesn't really help your team then, because you know you've gone away from your plan. No timing from Tucker on that occasion. Just see on your screen there by the side screen, it's Gary Wilson down there, keeping a keen eye. assistant coach of the men's team, of course. That's short, but that's been dispatched. Beautiful shot from Tucker. Just in the arc. And he's just helped that around the corner. Plenty on it. That's the first maximum of the innings for the Lightning.
It's great how still he remains as the bowler's running up. There's no moving around. He's keeping that head still so that when the ball is there for him, he could just help it on its way.
Seemed like he didn't really have to hit that too hard. Covered well. It's flipped around the corner. Josh Manley comes charging in. He'll keep it to 1.
Nicely played by Tucker. A slightly less experienced player may have tried to hit that a similar shot to the previous 6. On this occasion, he just tucked it off his hip and took the single that was on offer. And despite the early loss of the Test captain Andy Balbirnie, the Lightning will be delighted with the way this has gone. Both of these batsmen keen to score runs, keen to play attacking shots, and that could be the opening that Munster need.
Yeah, it's the old thing when you've got a total here at 130-ish. You know, do you, just talking about the bowlers bowling their normal game, do the batters play their normal game, which I suppose in T20 cricket is to go after it? So do you go out and continue to do that with the extra risk it brings, or just play normal cricket at a runner ball and set up the game?
Well, the other thing, of course, is because this is a tournament, you've got to look at things like net run rate as well.
So.
And over the last few years, net run rate has actually been very important as to the destiny of the title.
Absolutely.
So if you do have a side down, you really do want to put them away as quickly as possible. And at the moment, with 2 overs gone and 20 on the board, Leinster will be feeling quite happy about that.
Yeah, that's a really good point you make there, because it's a wee bit like sort of goal difference in the Football League, you know, and nobody really takes any attention to it until we reach the last 2-3 games of a season, and then suddenly everybody talks about goal difference. Same sort of thing with net run rate. It only becomes a thing when we get to the business end, and you know, and what about think about it at the start as well.
If only we'd scored another 10 runs in that first game, or got that total in an over less. And sometimes run rate does come down to such minor matters in the end.
So little things like that just to keep in your mind. Obviously, it's not the most important thing. Winning the game and getting the points on the board, of course, are the important, but just to have it in the back of your mind at all times, not just in the latter end of a tournament, which this is. Of course, we've got the festival here, but there'll be games throughout the season, the T20 and the IP20 tournaments throughout the season. We'll be bringing you coverage throughout the season here. Extra game on this festival. There's 2 games a day here. Wednesday, Thursday and Friday of this week. And then next week I think we have an IP20 and an IP50 up in Belfast. And then we move on, of course, to the first of the international series as Ireland are up against Pakistan in 3 T20s. Balls from Manley.
Well, you say that, and that for me is one of the important things about the interprovincial series, is that today we're fortunate we're seeing all the internationals. They all want to come out, have a run out, bat on ball in hand, just get back into the season. But once the Pakistan squad is named, and those players then undoubtedly will be rested, or however the management wants to deal with it, it'll be interesting to see the younger, the depth, the strength and depth that the interprovincial sides will be wanting to show that they have.
Yeah, that was a big thing at the start of last year when Ireland had, the senior team had the 2 qualifying tournaments coming up, and there was a lot of talk last year about how much cricket the international players would have, and it was a lot of talk about younger players coming through. I think that's where the Knights really got ahead of the game there, because a lot of their talk was of being without internationals, and they sort of got ahead of the game with that. Whereas Lightning, I think, sort of fell between two stools. Which way do we go? Do we go with our internationals all of the time, some of the time? And it sort of got a little bit messy at times for Lightning last year, but you know, obviously with the Pakistan series coming up really early in the season, it's got a little bit of a different dynamic to it.
Yeah, plenty of cricket certainly scheduled this summer. Let's hope that the weather gods are with us as well.
Oh, that's a beauty from Josh Manley. That's an absolute beauty. And he has cleaned up Lorcan Tucker. And a very similar dismissal to McCarthy's wicket. Second wicket in the Munster red innings. Josh Manley has done the business there for the Reds. He's cleaned up Lorcan Tucker with a beautiful ball.
Well, Tucker's stay was short and spectacular. A couple of unusual shots, but on this occasion, just a beautiful delivery. Getting between bat and pad, crashing into the stumps, and Tucker makes way.
Yeah, bang on target from Manley. The Reds are going to get back into it. He's going to have to do something similar. What Barry McCarthy did for the Lightning. Tall ask what it may be. Coming to the wicket, wearing 13.
Well, I wonder when was the last time that the top four of an interprovincial side all played for the same club?
I'll keep that quiet. I'm not mentioning that. Short ball, pulled into the leg side. Lovely shot from Tim Tector. That's gone for 4. Really got hold of that early on position. Really nicely. Kept it down. And 4 more for the Lightning.
Tector not affected by the loss of partner at all. Lovely shot.
I'd like to think the communication should be pretty good here between these two. As was mentioned, wearing 13, new batter Harry Tector.
Yeah, you'd think that the communication would have been built up over years and years of backyard cricket.
You would think so.
Not to mention the amount of times they'd have played together in the club sides.
That's a lovely shot. That is a lovely shot, and that may well be the most pleasing shot we've seen today. We've seen some big sixes, but in terms of aesthetically pleasing, off the back foot, punched into the cover area.
And you're quite right, Ali. All it was, you see here, it's just a push. It's a punch through the offside, but he found the gap, and finding the gap was more important than the power he put into the shot, really.
Yeah, just nice on the eye there. As we mentioned before in the previous, didn't try and hit it too hard, just found the gap. And got full value. 2 boundaries in the first 3 balls. That'll be a single. They've changed the field from that first delivery. There's a man out there now. He's being wide out in the field. Good aggressive stuff from Tim Tector. Tector to face his first ball. And it goes without saying, the Reds would love to see the back of him as early as possible. Well, they'll get the run eventually. I think there was was ever a run to the original shot, but yeah, unnecessary. Shy at the stumps. Gives away the overthrow. Harry Tector gets off the mark.
Yeah, it's the sort of overthrow that will really infuriate a bowler. There was no single originally. But the shy at the stumps gives away another run. Brings Tim Tector back on strike.
Oh. Side edge there. Could so easily have cannoned into the stumps. But dribbles away onto the leg side. Tim Tector survives. And after 4, the Lightning have moved on to 31 for 2.
Good over for the Lightning there. 10 runs coming from it. The run rate, certainly no difficulty at the moment. That target of 135. Leinster will go about it steadily, one feels, rather than throwing everything at it.
Yeah, and I think just tells the tale here again, as we sort of mentioned in the first innings. McCarthy stayed on because he had taken a couple of wickets. It's usual that the opening bowler will bowl a couple and then come off in the power play, but the Reds need wickets. Manly's got 2. They've given him a 3rd. That's a lovely shot again, though. Just lent on it. This time Harry Tector just leaning on that into the leg side, and there's your extra bit of athleticism there. He gets back for 3, possibly only should have been 2, but quick between the wickets, gets back for 3. Lovely shot.
When you say lovely shot, then it's nice to see what I suppose old-timers like me would call proper cricket shots. T20 sometimes feels more like Fenway Park than Sydney Parade. But you can understand PJ Moore persisting with Manly. He's taken 2 wickets, and that's what they need at the moment. They need to be taking wickets. They need to be putting question marks into the Leinster Lightning's minds.
He's also given no backup. He's kept his 2 slips, and it'd be very easy to take them out, try and just shore up the runs. But again, it's just another indication that the wickets are key for the Reds. It's on the back foot. It's not quite timed, but I think it's going to be good enough, and it is. Gets to the boundary as well.
Get another shot that really didn't have any violence about it. More timing, just getting on top of it, playing it out in the offside. Tim Tector will be delighted.
Yeah, I think that's what he's done well in the innings so far. Obviously, he's a tall man, but he's been quite good on getting up on his toes and playing the ball from a height and playing down on the ball, keeping it along the deck. He's picking up the odd boundary here and there. And this time comes down the track. And that's beautiful, I have to say. He's made it into a half volley. Followed through with it and has caressed that through mid-off for another boundary. And now he's moved on in the last couple of overs to 21. You can see that. Just came down the track. Lovely shot.
It was that shot at that sort of pace that keeps the fielder interested for longer than he should, really. 11 from the over so far, still 2 balls remaining. As you say, seeing him stand tall, get on top of that, negate any bounce on it. Manly, well, he's had a trouble with no balls today.
Yeah, again, just be disappointed again. Josh Manley's just possibly just striving that extra little bit. No way, it's kind of criminal. He's gone for 11 already, and he's, that'll be 12 with the extra on now. Tim Tector can just pick a spot here. He's just going to get one.
And the funny thing is, for that shot, he did attempt to put some violence on the ball,
Yeah.
and he ends up only getting a single.
That's it. Well, that's the call, isn't it? As soon as you get the free hit. Again, if we talked about mindset changes, then you don't do your normal things and you try and overhit. And yes, sometimes it'll disappear to the park, but on other occasions like that, the timing goes, you end up just with one. Can Manly close this out with the big wicket? It's a good ball, but well defended, plenty off the over. Need to chase that. Tector just keeps it out. It's 44 for 2 from 5.
So Manly only has 1 over left now. He has been the main threat so far with 2 wickets to his name. So the captain used him for that 3rd over, hoping to take a 3rd wicket, just as McCarthy did. It wasn't to be on this occasion, and really it could. I mean, there's no point in saving Manly till the end, and he's only defending 3 runs for victory, etc. And it's wise to use him now while you're trying for that breakthrough. But that wasn't the way the Munster captain or the Munster side would have wanted that over to work out.
Yep, on a turn 2. Curtis Camphor now. He can get the breakthrough for the Reds. There again, but got that away. Just going to get pulled up. Just be 2 this time.
Harry Tector not willing to run the 3rd on his brother's shot.
No. Happy enough to do it in his own. Sometimes you need that little bit of selfishness as well. You can start this from Tim Tector.
Oh, that's a
fielding.
Fabulous fielding. Jordan Neal there, throwing himself full length and getting the congratulations of his teammate, and deservedly so. That certainly saved 4 runs.
Again, slightly up-ish, but avoids Ben White. The mid-wicket region goes away for 4. Cartellini on the boundary can do nothing about it. Another boundary for Tector.
It's almost a short arm jab, quite tight to his body, but he got enough elevation to clear White. And once it had cleared the ring, it was going to run away to the boundary, and that in fact has brought the change in the field.
Comes in from the boundary, which means it'll just be the single there. There's the 50 up for the Lightning. And almost half the time, you would say. It's 11.3, I think.
Yep.
We're at 5.4. 50 up for the Lightning. And also 3 wickets less.
Runs required, drop below, run a ball.
Just be another single down the ground.
Tim Tector going along very nicely. He's reached 29 now from just 21 deliveries. His brother a bit more circumspect at the moment.
Tremendous piece of fielding down there from Gareth Delaney. Full length to his right, and 4 written all over it. Tremendous piece of fielding. Ends up with 2. May not seem much, but just shows determination still there with the Reds. Full length dive from Delaney. That ends the power play though. Although they've lost 2 wickets, the Lightning well set here, you would say. 54 for the loss of those 2.
Well, just for comparison, it was only after 12 overs that Munster Reds had reached 54. And as you say, at that stage they were 54 for 5. And they were in fact in the middle of that best partnership that they had, 50 partnership in the middle of the innings. Another change of bowling now, and it will be Ben White from the St John's end.
This is the thing though, Ben White now coming on, and they don't have to go after him. If he bowls really well, just nudge him around for singles. Don't have to take too many chances at the moment. Ben White loves to have people coming at him and trying to hit him out of the ground, and picks up wickets a lot of the time from that. You can see there, just a defensive shot. Takes the sort of inside half of the bat and just rolls out, still get a single.
We joked about backyard cricket earlier on, but one would think that the amount of time that these two have played together means that when they see a ball drop like that on the leg side, they know it's a single, as opposed to a partnership where they weren't too sure. Do you run on those? Do I?
Yeah, a little bit of telepathy maybe. And this is just that, those first 2 balls have sort of illustrated what I'm saying. You know, no chances. You can just nudge it around, take 3, 4, maybe even 5, 6 singles and over. Don't really need to take big risks. Can't Ben White saying that. Out comes the reverse sweep.
Well, it is T20 where you see these manufactured shots. Tector on this occasion not making contact.
Let's have a look at it now, see what we think on the replay. Yeah.
Just outside the line, perhaps. Umpire making good decisions again.
It's hit into the leg side. We pulled in.
Nice bit of fielding on the boundary. John McNally it was, running around cow corner, and he takes it on the bounce.
Tector making me look a bit foolish here now. He's not worried about risks. Plays a reverse sweep. Yeah. Slog sweep into that area in the air. He'll play his natural game by the look of it. Yeah, he's almost hit that too well. Meant that Delaney could come around and cut off the 2. Yeah, 4 singles from the over so far.
But this is the fortunate thing for the Lightning, is they know they don't need to take on every bowler, every ball. They can play their way into this.
Yeah, just one more single. Closes out. Ben White's first over, and bar that Hillby appeal. Fairly uneventful. Just the way the Lightning will take it now.
Well, that's it. They don't need to force the game. They can just let the game come to them at the moment. They're scoring very nicely. Nearly 8.5 and over.
You can see that depicted on your screen there, the run rate. Left hand side, that's the current run rate. The run rate required down below ball, run a ball at the moment. So fairly comfortable these days. Count for in to Tector.
Another single in this partnership. The Tector brothers moves on to 39. It's come about quite quickly, really.
You mentioned 39 partnership. All right. Only on 9 of that. Nicely played from Tim Tector there. Just dropped that into the offside. It's a good ball. Still negotiates a single.
The call from Harry was really an instruction rather than a question. There was no sending him back from that one, that was for sure. Well, the big expansive drive off the third ball of the over comes to Nout. As you can see, the short sleeves are out on the wall.
Yeah, what a lovely sight that is.
Great to see. Good crowd down on a Wednesday as well.
Yeah, it's been called. Scoring egg umpire took a little while. I suppose when you're Harry Tector, you don't get as many of those because you're well over 6 feet.
Quite tall anyway.
But I think that was a fair call. Just took a little while. Of course, the way given for over head height. The ball passes the batter. Tector down the track, just gets through. Fielder.
It was hit at Mike Frost with tremendous force, and it just sort of burst through the initial stop. That allowed them to get through for the single. Brings Tim back on strike. He's on 34 now and has been going along very nicely. And again, a nice bit of fielding.
We mentioned Tim Tector there. A bit of a struggle in a way for the Leinster Lightning last year, but Tim Tector actually topped the scoring for the T20 tournament last year. And a big score of 91. That's the running we're talking about there. Tim was off already.
You could sense the understanding between them, and also the
bit of trust.
Trust,
bit of trust.
Absolute.
Yeah,
the belief in your partner that if your partner's calling you, he's going to make it, and reckons you will too.
I think on that one, Harry had just dropped it into the offside, and when he got the call, he just trusted it, and off he went. So again, a fairly uneventful over in a way. Just singles in the wide. 6 from it. That's all really the Lightning need at the moment. They sort of seem to be setting into this pattern of 6-7 per over, take it to 100 and then maybe accelerate and try and get it over the line fairly quickly then. But let's just consolidate for now. Ben White to continue. Well ball. Similar again. Good call.
And again, there was absolutely no hesitation from Harry. Once Tim had called him, he knew he was going.
Yep.
If it had been a wrong call, then they may have had words in the dressing room afterwards. But it's that, as you say, the trust that these two have. I mean, years and years of playing, whether it be against each other at 1-on-1 or whatever.
Definitely makes a difference if you're, you know, if you've played with the same person time and time again. Yeah, the boundary's just dried up, but as I say, just happy to
the score over at the minute.
It's an accumulation of runs by Leinster at the moment rather than fireworks.
Yep, may not be your typical T20 game, you would say, today. See lots of wickets early for the Reds, meant that they couldn't really go too fast too early. Nice similarly here. Lightning not chasing a massive total. Don't have to chase the boundaries. Slightly upish. Just safe.
Chip down for the single. Takes the score on 69 for 2. One feels that the Leinster sideline players are quite relaxed watching this at the moment. Good ball from White. Brought the false shot finally from Harry Tector, but nobody fielding close enough to take advantage.
Holy edge. Single again though. Once again, 5 from the over, and it's 70 for 2.
One would think that the Leinster Lightning would be very much the happier of the two teams at the moment. They're over halfway to their target. There's still an over to go till we reach halfway through the innings. And Tector, well, they've put on 49 together now. And it's exactly what the Leinster Lightning needed and wanted at this stage. They lost the 2 early wickets. Andy Balbirnie getting a leading edge. And Lorcan Tucker, well, he went down the Bakerloo. The ball didn't. And crashed into his stumps. He played around one. So those are the 2 wickets to fall, both to Manly. And now Munster turning to Mike Frost to see if he can make a change to this game.
Yep, spin from both ends at the moment. Here we go. And Harry Tector says, "Thank you very much. I'm not going to have a look, see what it's doing on the left arm spin. I'm just going to deposit that straight over the wall on the far side." That's the way to welcome somebody to the crease.
Well, not ideal. I'm sure that Mike Frost wouldn't have envisaged his first ball disappearing out of the ground. But on the other hand, he'll be pleased to see people playing their shots, because that gives him the greater opportunity to take the wicket. And I don't really think a maiden or 2 here or there is going to make that much difference. It is wickets that Munster require.
Well, absolutely it is. The Wasp figure has touched 99%. So I think it's really safe to say that the old computer thinks that the Lightning are in the box seat here.
Well, I don't know who writes the algorithms for these things, but I tell you, they do a good job.
So the new ball. Frost to come in again. Second ball to Harry Tector. Hasn't been hit quite as cleanly. It's gone through for 4 into the players' tents. So there's another 6-4 for you, Craig.
Yeah, it's been the way today. If the ball has cleared the ropes, the next one reaches the ropes. Happened 3 times during the Munster innings that we saw. Batsmen with their eyes in. Batsmen willing to take bowlers on, as they do in T20s. So 10 off the first 2 deliveries.
Just going to fall short. By play there from Harry Tector showed he was going to come down to the leg side and give himself a bit of room over the offside this time. Mike Frost bowled it wide. got the hold of it, obviously, but safe into the offside. That brings Tim Tector down to face Frost now.
Frost seemed to push that one a bit quicker through. Tector still able to take the single. Another shot through the covers. It won't be stopped before it reaches the fence. And just as Frost was running up to bowl there, Tector's back foot lifted. He was trying to show the bowler, I'm going to make room for myself, or hoping to force the bowler into putting the ball where he actually wanted it. And as a result, powered it out through the covers. Another 4, and it's another expensive over. 16 off it so far, 1 ball to come.
Yeah, just that by play is what I'm talking about. Just watching Harry Tector now. We'll see if he does something similar in this last ball. Does he show that he's going to go to the leg side, or just that movement in the crease? Stays quite still this time for the last ball. But yeah, we'd always talk about, you know, you don't want to be moving about the crease too much. But the one thing to look at is, yes, he may be moving about the crease as the ball's bowled, but when he's actually making contact with the ball, he's got a still base again, and he's you know, his head's steady when he's actually making contact. So that trigger movement at the start is really just for the bowler, to say, here's where I'm going, and then he doesn't really make the move. So, you know, it's, at the contact point, he's usually quite steady.
Well, halfway through the 20 overs allocated for the Leinster Lightning to chase down this total of 134 for 9 that Munster managed to put up in the first innings. And they're going along very nicely. 48 to win from those 60 deliveries. And quite importantly, 8 wickets in hand.
Yeah, just that. As I say, no risk cricket here against Ben White at the moment. Happy just to take it on. As I said earlier, you could possibly see the Lightning getting to 100 here. Then maybe one of the two could say, I'm going to take it on a little bit more.
Oh,
try and close it out a little bit earlier than maybe you could if there are only 2 wickets down at that stage. Up the square leg fielder into the circle, deep square leg into square leg. That's a nice shot. It's quite calmly played down the ground.
Well, Leinster Lightning will be well aware that they don't need to chase 10, 15 and over, and yet that seems to be coming to them anyway, just playing a normal type of game. We were talking earlier about leg spinners, and Ben White, obviously the man in possession at the moment, and Gareth Delaney there or thereabouts, and Gavin Hoey coming up, all 3 on Shover with us today. Great to see, and it's not that long ago that Ireland basically picked 2 off spinners all the time.
That's it. Yeah, got a little bit on that. Again, that run between the wickets is good. Gets back for 2. Yeah, and I mean, talk about the bowling coach Ryan Eagleson for the senior team, always looking for that little bit of difference, whether it be left arm seamer like we have, or Josh Little obviously, but then the leg spinner, we didn't have a quality leg spinner at the highest level for quite some time. We were picking offies, but it is just that difference in international cricket that you need, and that's what the Interpros is about, is blood in these players and letting them have a look at internet, you know, the provincial standard, in order to say, well, if you can handle this, again, can you step up into
It's that beautiful half step between the club game and then into the international side, and it does make a big difference, I think. And it also gives us on the sidelines a chance to see the up-and-coming players and see who's going to break through and what the options are for the Ireland squad. It gives a lot of ammunition to us sort of keyboard warriors as well, that we start seeing a player and start talking about him, how's he going to get on, and then the interprovincials are that good step up that enable these youngsters to say, no, give me another go.
Well, actually, just over the past couple of years, especially last year, obviously seeing a lot more of it. Just really pleased to see the competitiveness really coming back into the interprovincials. I know I'm speaking to a couple of the Northern Knights who won the trophies at the end of the day, but how important it was that it was competitive again. You know, it wasn't just turn up and put the shirt on and go through the motions and I'll get picked in the next one. There was a much more rivalry in terms of, and I like to see that coming back again into it.
And part of that has been sort of the move away from traditional interprovincials, which years and years ago would have been you had to be resident or whatever in an area. Now that the Cricket Ireland can sort of move players around as they need to, it has levelled the playing field. Definitely. And in fact, Munster winning the tournament a couple of years ago won the IP20. And it's great to see that level of competitiveness because it drives all the provinces on to improve.
Absolutely, absolutely. I like to see, even though you're maybe be international teammates, a little bit of, you know, we watched Barry McCarthy bowling earlier. He wasn't taking any sort of second guesses about anything. He was going full leather about, you know, and actually getting your teammates out or hitting them for four is part of it. You know, it's really good to see, and it's what interpros are about.
Tim Tector trying to lift Frost onto the leg side. Luckily enough for him, he didn't get too much of it. Curtis Camphor it is who's fielding down by the floodlight at long on. Oh,
that's definitely not the greatest ball we've seen today.
Frost apologising to the batsman. I don't think the batsman needs the apology. He should be thanking the bowler. Full toss, no ball, deposited down to the railway line. So quick onto that. Even if there had been a fielder nearby, all it would have done was reduce his journey to go and fetch the ball.
Yeah.
And that's the 100 up for Leinster. As you said, perhaps now they'll think about that net run rate and accelerating to try and reach that total as quickly as possible.
Bonus points as well. I mean, they're well on target for that.
Another big shot, and that again has cleared the floodlight. I think we're going to have to buy some more ground around Sydney Parade just to cope with the hitting of the two Tector brothers. And Frost, he's really taking some tap at the moment.
Yeah, just in the slot, really. And Harry Tector's not going to miss out there. Put it in the arc. He's now going past his brother. A bit of a slow start. We talked about their partnership. Tim Tector was the major run scorer at the start of this partnership, but Harry's taken a liking to Mike Frost here. And, he's just 4 away from a half century now.
One thing I did like there, while they were choosing a new ball, Gareth Delaney came across to have a word with Frost, the bowler. Words of encouragement. I think just played out in the leg side for the single.
Yeah, these two have done it well, you have to say. Got a little bit of pressure early. 20 for 2. Seen off that early spell. Now, coasting home here, you would think.
Nice fielding, but can't prevent the single. And Mike Frost, well, Those are figures that he won't look back on with any great fondness. 11 deliveries, 34 runs. It just shows how the Tectors really are going about their business now. As I said, once you can get in on this wicket, I think it's possible to score and score big, but it's a matter of getting in, and this one isn't going to reach the fence. And it's taken. Nice catch from Curtis Camphor down at long on, and that's the end of Harry Tector, and he departs on 47.
Yeah, just one too many there possibly, but just held up on the pitch. Threw the shot a little bit earlier on that occasion, Harry Tector, but 47 from 29 just, and as we've said a few times, took a wee while to get going, but once he did, showed an undoubted class, and he's taken his side to pretty much the brink here.
You see on the replay, his bottom hand comes off the bat, and that took away some of the strength of the shot. And it's a fine, safe catch from Camphor, and that's what certainly Munster Reds needed, and now they need a few more as well.
I think young Mike Frost needed that. He's got
Yes.
his wicket, but he's taken a bit of punishment there at the hands of Harry Tector.
That's what I would call a Harrods wicket. It's the same as you'd buy an Aldi, but it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah. Yep. So right down at 135 is the target here. So just 26 required. Lots of time. But as we've said a few times, bonus points, run rates, all sorts of things need to be in the mind of the Lightning as well. As you see there, Sam Harbinson come in. Played for the Lightning last year. The Marion Club. Ben White's going to continue here. See if he can double up here and see if he can spark a little bit of life in this game again. And that doe's been squeezed down the leg side. He's got a little bit of wood on it. Yep. Be a boundary off the first ball. Just drifting down leg side. Tim Tector just helps it on its way. On to 46 now. I think it'd be fitting if he got his half centuries. He's played really well, given any chances really. Nicely bowled, Ben White. Slip in there. So he mentioned he's been quite economical. Ben White, just the 19 so far and 3.5. But really, the Reds needed wickets from him today. That's a bit short. Got away with that one. And the Lightning have just been able to play him out without really taking too many big risks.
Yeah, they haven't felt the need to sort of dance down the wicket to him, and that's where leg spinners love that, where the ball moving away from the edge of the right-hander's bat. But they've been able to wait on him, they've been able to pick him off, take the ones and twos, knowing that they weren't chasing a massive target. And any runs they got from White were sort of a bonus almost.
Yeah, that's it. You know, without the runs on the board, bowlers always like those extra little runs on the board. Just give them that bit of backup and force the batters into maybe a bad decision here or there. A lovely shot for none. Hit straight at Camphor.
Well, that's the end of White's spell, and he's done a decent job for his side. He's only gone for 20 from the 4 overs, but as Ali was saying, Munster Reds would have been hoping that he'd wrinkle out 1 or 2 batsmen as well, and that hasn't been the case on this occasion. The Leinster Lightning still with 7 wickets remaining and just 20 runs required. Well, it's more down to individual landmarks now. Can Tim Tector reach that half century? We think that the result of this game now, well, very much in favour of the Leinster Lightning.
Yeah, as we reach towards the end of this game, don't forget, another game this afternoon. I just see the Ireland white ball captain Paul Stirling just headed past us a couple of minutes ago. He'll be playing for the Northern Knights, I suspect. And they're up against the Northwest Warriors, that game a little bit later on. But for now, McCarthy back in. Swing and a miss for Sam Harbinson. So yeah, if you can join us later on. As I say, the second game of this IP20 festival here in Dublin. Game should be around about 2:45 today.
Well, I can understand more bringing McCarthy back. There's no point in not playing all your best cards now. He's got to find a wicket. He's got to break these partnerships. It's not about slowing scoring rates or anything like that now. It really is about taking wickets for Munster.
Yeah, absolutely. No point in having overs in the hutch. Really, as you say, Craig, we're looking at see if Tim Tector can get to his half century here.
Well,
I think he's bang on cue. Thanks, Tim. Really appreciate that. Beautiful shot. Pulled over mid-wicket to the vacant boundary. And that takes Tim Tector through to a well-constructed half-century. There you can see on your screen 7 boundaries within that 50. Just from the 38 balls, and he's really just anchored the team home here. Sat in when he needed to and put the bad ball away. And he's got a little bit of luck on the follow-up. Outside edge has gone for another boundary there. So a little bit of luck on that occasion, but that's really the first ball, I would say, Craig, that he hasn't sort of played on its merits.
yeah, he hasn't played much behind the stumps. He's looking to play through the ball. And he tried it again here. That was not where he was aiming. But it ran away before any fielder could get to it. And it's 4 more in the book. 4 more to his name. Just 11 required for victory now.
Yeah, they've done it well here, the Lightning, you have to say. Lost a couple early. 2 fairly high-profile players, of course. But a bit of strength and depth in this team at the moment. Certainly with the internationals available. And good performance with the ball, you have to say. Even without Barry McCarthy's heroics, it was still a good performance even without him. When you throw him into the mix. Oh, really, really good run out here. The team in blue. I mentioned earlier about this time last year the Knights got off to a flying start in the first festival. Looks like the Lightning going to get off to a, let's say it, a lightning start.
Well, from the Munster point of view, they'll be pleased to see Gareth Delaney with the bat. He got 44. And Manley, Josh Manley, well, he started off with 2 early wickets that had the Leinster Lightning 21 for 2. But then a partnership of 88 between Harry and Tim Tector has really put this game away from Munster. In fact, we'll see our third leg spinner. It's Gareth Delaney now to bowl from the St John's end.
Yep. Suppose a bit of a free shot here for Gareth Delaney. He goes for a few runs. Not really going to matter, but if he can pick up a couple of wickets, not do his confidence any harm. Tweaking with the field. There's going to be a couple on the leg side boundary at square leg, sort of, and deep mid wicket. In comes Delaney. Oh, it's a little bit short. It's in the air, and it's been caught on that boundary. Would you believe it? Just as that man had been moved, a little bit square into that deep mid wicket position, and a good old-fashioned rank long hop from Gareth Delaney, and it picks up a wicket.
So often it's, I mean, it can be the most infuriating thing as a batsman to get out to that ball, but he did. Yeah. Really dragged down, and Harbison, well, his eyes lit up. What he wasn't counting on was a fine bit of fielding, on the move, both hands, and then get to ground, if only to stop yourself finding the rope. Super catch on the boundary, and Harbison departs. He only got two.
Yeah, I think the key to that is just the speed across the ground there. Good feet movement took him around. It meant then he was steady and taking the catch. He didn't have to really dive for it. He got himself in a good position. But yeah, I think Harbison was deciding just where he was putting that. Unfortunately, he decided to put it towards the fielder. Just having a look out there now. McNally out there taking that catch. He's just asking if he wants to be kept in the same position. They have decided to do so for the new batter, George Dockrell. Slip and play. Very short delivery as well. McNally in business again. This time, can't do it. That's a boundary off the first ball that he's faced for George Dockrell.
Dockrell, who's really remade himself over the years, and he's now become sort of the Irish finisher. Very similar to the old Australian player Michael Bevan. Come in with a big bat, look after the tail. Coming in at 6 today. Another short one from Delaney, and that one
is dispatched.
Gets the treatment into the gardens. 6 more onto the total, and that
on the win. 6 and 4 again,
which means that the scores are now tied.
He hasn't really been coming out of the hand, really.
He's not let go of it.
Not really.
No.
Seems to be hanging on to it a little bit. He hasn't really let one go properly. And a bit of a crazy over wicket 4-6, and that first ball could have gone for anything you wanted as well. So we're getting a new ball for what could be the last ball.
Well, it's unfortunate for Gareth Delaney, as we say, just seems to have trouble letting go of the ball at the moment. He's not finding the right length.
Piece of fielding there, and then McCarthy keeps us out there. At least another delivery. Keeps us on tender hooks again. We finish off the over.
Delaney would like to finish the over. Never nice to have the winning runs hit off yourself.
Afraid so, though. Straight back down the track from Dockrell, and that's a boundary. He was on to 14 from 5. That closes out the game. And a fairly comprehensive performance from the Leinster Lightning. They'll be delighted with that effort, both with bat and ball. they've been the better side on both sides of the argument today.
I think the important thing was the opening spell from McCarthy. He took 3 wickets right at the very top, left the Munster Reds 10 for 3, having lost Camphor, Neil and Kruger, and it was hard for them to come back from that.
Yeah, but just as we're talking about, it's first outing for both teams, really, and just look back on that final shot. Delaney again, a little bit short, and no problems with that, depositing that for the winning boundary. And as I say, it's the first outing. The Reds take some positives from that middle order fight back. Yes, they were outplayed, but their day will come again. Get another go tomorrow. That's the best thing about this festival. They get another crack at it, and I'm sure, as they say, they'll be better for the run, and we'll see how they get on tomorrow. But for the Lightning, they'll be delighted with that performance, as I say, both with bat and ball, and they've got off to a winning start in this IP20 tournament first day. We'll just go back to the original. Back around about 10:45 this morning, Craig.
Well, Leinster Lightning won the toss and they decided to have a field, and by goodness, that decision paid dividends for them. McCarthy taking Kruger, Neil and Camphor in his first spell and reduced the Munster Reds 10 for 3, and after that it was just about trying to make a total any way they could. Gareth Delaney with some fine big hitting, and John McNally, they put on a good half-century partnership and really gave the Munster Reds at least something to hope for. And McCarthy ended up with plenty of wickets on that one. The partnerships, well, Gareth Delaney and McNally, as I say, they put on 57, and that was the mainstay of that total of 134. The interesting one is the partnership that came afterwards, partnership of 21 between Delaney and McCarthy, where McCarthy, I don't think, left the non-striker's end, as Gareth Delaney did his best to take the Munster Reds to a decent score, but it was just a lack of partnerships and wickets falling all the way through.
Yeah, not very difficult to see where we're talking about the Lightning bowling attack. Decent performances all the way down there, but absolute standout performance of some of the best opening deliveries there you've seen from Barry McCarthy, and a final total 4 overs, 2 maidens, 5 wickets for 3 runs. The best performance in the IP20 from any bowler. 5 wickets for 3 runs for Barry McCarthy. Move on to the Lightning reply. And yes, they lost Andrew Balbirnie early, and then Lorcan Tucker, but the 2 Tector brothers got together, put on an excellent partnership between the 2 of them. Good running between the wickets between them and picking up the odd boundary. Lost a couple there towards the end with Harry Tector holding out and then Harbinson, but Tim Tector not out, 54 at the end. And as you see in the middle there, that partnership between the 2 Tectors, Tim Tector 37 and Harry Tector 47 in that partnership of 88, and really that broke the back of the low total of 134.
Well, the Reds bowlers, they didn't have much to defend at the start, and the way the Leinster Lightning went after this, well, they didn't really have much hope. Manley gave them the glimmer of hope with 2 wickets for 24. In his first 2 overs, he took those wickets. He was kept on for a 3rd, and that ended up being quite an expensive wicket over. And then Frost, well, he may have picked up a wicket, but he won't want to look at the runs conceded in it. They definitely were looking for him today. So there is the match summary. The Leinster Lightning record the first victory of this IP20 festival in Sydney Parade by 6 wickets. They're 138 for 4, overtaking the Reds 134 for 9. And Delaney, Tector, but mainly McCarthy, I think, is possibly the player you'd look as the star of this game.
Yeah, definitely. Barry McCarthy will take the plaudits for that spell and taking those 5 wickets. So the Lightning got off their winning start. We have game 2 to follow a little bit later on today. We'll be back here with coverage of the Northwest Warriors taking on the Northern Knights. It'd be great for you to join us then, and we'll hopefully see you then.